If I had $1 for every time my wife mentioned her work husband, I'd be able to pay for the divorce attorney I never thought I'd need. My name is Jason. I'm 34 years old, a high school teacher from Colorado. For most of the last decade, I was married to Hannah, the woman I thought I would grow old with. She was smart, driven, beautiful in that understated way, and someone I truly believed had my back. We met at a wedding. She was the maid of honor, I was a groomsman, and, one too many glasses of wine and a shared love for 90s music, we spent the night talking under the stars. We dated for 3 years, married for 7. No kids, just our dog, Max, and a house we'd been slowly remodeling together. Hannah worked in marketing, managing client accounts and organizing campaigns. Her job was fast-paced and sometimes chaotic, but she was damn good at it. She started climbing the ladder quickly. I supported her every step of the way, making dinners when she worked late, picking up groceries, cheering her on during late-night presentation rehearsals. About 3 years ago, a new name started popping up in her stories. Chris. He was always helping her fix something, covering for her in meetings, sending her memes, making her laugh. She called him her work husband. At first, I didn't think much of it. I've heard the phrase before. I've had female coworkers who joked the same way. But with Hannah, the mentions became daily. Then several times a day. Then little things changed. She started texting more often when we were together, always smiling at her phone, sometimes turning the screen away when I passed behind her. Work's just nuts right now, she said one night. Chris and I are trying to land a new client, so we're always strategizing. It was reasonable. Until at WASN single quotes T. Late-night dinners became frequent. Team drinks after work. Travel to out-of-town conferences that were always booked together. Her work phone became glued to her hand. She started guarding her personal phone with a quiet kind of defensiveness, setting new passwords, deleting messages. I asked her once, calmly, "Are you sure you and Chris aren't getting too close?" She smiled and shook her head. "Jason, come on. Don't be that guy. You know I'd never cheat on you." But the seed was planted, and no matter how much I tried to trust her, it grew. Last November, she flew to Chicago for a conference. She was excited, had her whole itinerary printed out. I helped her pack, even drove her to the airport. She kissed me goodbye and said she loved me. The first night she was gone, we FaceTimed. She was already in pajamas, sipping wine from a hotel glass, hair up in a messy bun. Long day. I asked. She nodded. Chris and I grabbed dinner with some clients. It was exhausting. I'm wiped. The next day, something odd happened. Our devices were still linked by an old iCloud setup. I never bothered to disconnect it, and I guess she didn't realize. A photo sent to my MacBook, a rooftop bar at night, city lights. Hannah, with a cocktail in hand, smiling into the camera. Next to her, Chris, arms slung across her shoulder, hand resting on her thigh. Too casual, too familiar. I stared at that photo for a long time. My first instinct was denial. Maybe it was just innocent. Maybe they were posing for a joke. Maybe, but no. Deep down, I knew this wasn't a sudden thing. This had been simmering for months, maybe longer. When she returned from the trip, I didn't confront her immediately. I started gathering evidence. Her call log was full of late-night conversations with Chris. Hundreds of texts, many deleted. I checked our joint phone bill and saw that she'd called him more times in 1 week than she'd called me in a month. Then I checked social media. I found photos from coworkers, group shots at company dinners. In one, Chris had his arm around her waist. In another, they were laughing together, her hand on his chest. The dam broke a week later. We were sitting in the living room, watching a movie. She got up to take a call. "It's just work," she said, heading to the kitchen. I muted the TV and followed. She was whispering. I heard her laugh. When she saw me standing there, she jumped. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I just asked, "Are you sleeping with him?" Her face said everything before her mouth could. She sank onto the kitchen stool and put her head in her hands. I didn't mean for it to happen, that line. That cliché. I'd read it online 1,000 times. Now it was being thrown at me, like it could explain away the broken glass of my life. I felt lonely, she said. You were always so steady. But I needed excitement, someone who challenged me. I asked, and you thought screwing a married coworker was the answer? She looked ashamed, said she didn't plan it. That it started emotional, then turned physical. That she didn't know how to stop. That she still loved me. But love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice, and she chose him. Over and over, I told her to pack a bag and go. She begged me not to, said we could fix it. Go to therapy, start fresh, but I was done. Something in me had snapped, and I couldn't unsee the truth. That night, she left. Max lay by the door for hours, waiting. I didn't sleep. I stared at our wedding photo, wondering when the smile she used to give me faded. The divorce was messy. Her family was shocked. Her sister called me crying, saying she'd always suspected something wasn't right. Her mom reached out to apologize. Even Chris's wife contacted me. Turns out, she had suspected for months but lacked proof. We ended up exchanging timelines. The overlap was nauseating. Chris was fired 3 weeks later. Their company had a strict non-fraternization policy. Hannah wasn't as she resigned, claiming the work environment became hostile. She moved in with her sister. I stayed in the house. She didn't fight me for it. Maybe she knew she'd already taken enough. I kept teaching, focused on my students, who didn't know their teacher was nursing a bruised heart every day. I started hiking again, got into photography. I went to therapy. Cried in front of a stranger more times than I can count, but it helped. Healing is weird. It's not linear. Some days I felt strong. Other days, I'd smell her shampoo on a scarf she left behind and spiral. One of the worst parts, I missed her, not the person she became, but the one I thought she was. It's been 6 months now. She emailed me once, said she was sorry again, that Chris moved away, that she was in therapy, that she wished me peace. I didn't respond. I don't hate her. I don't wish her pain, but I don't wish her back into my life. Either. I share this story not for revenge or pity, but for the people who get told you're overthinking it when your partner jokes about a work husband. Sometimes it's harmless, but sometimes it's the first warning sign of something darker. Don't ignore your gut. Her work husband was more than that. And the man I used to be, loyal, trusting, naive, he's gone, but in his place, someone stronger is learning to stand.